Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Andy, for those kind words. It truly is an honor to be here with you today. It truly is an honor to be here with such amazing young women and men as you embark on that next step on your path to success. I want to congratulate you on everything you've accomplished to get to this point. And I also want to acknowledge all the people who've made it possible for you to get here. So thank you, parents. Thank you, siblings, extended family, teachers, mentors, coaches, counselors, and friends. These amazing people would not be sitting here without you. And like all of you, I wouldn't be standing here without the support of my parents, my siblings, my wife, my daughter, my friends, and all the amazing teachers, coaches, and mentors I've been fortunate enough to have in my life. Like all of you, I am the product of their love, their support, and their combined efforts. When Mr. David and Ms. Sandick contacted me to speak here tonight, my initial thought was, they must have the wrong number. I mean, what could I possibly have to say? What advice could I offer you guys that you haven't heard a million times over? I mean, Janice, look at how amazing she is. I'm always looking for mentors, and I feel like I need to talk to you for possibly becoming my mentor. But as I thought about standing here today and looking at all your bright, eager, optimistic young faces, a few memories came rushing back from being a Daniel Murphy Scholar, of being in your shoes and being in your exact place. So I thought I'd share them with you. I remember my interview day very vividly. I remember driving to this small downtown office with my middle school principal, all the while wondering, is my dad going to be able to find the address on his own? I remember thinking one minute, okay, I rehearsed all these questions, all these answers with my middle school teachers, and the next minute I'm wondering, what are they going to ask my dad? And more importantly, are they going to understand his broken English? I was a nervous wreck. Just like you guys a few months ago, I remember being whisked from one interview room to the other. The first interview room wasn't too bad. I stumbled through the questions and I got out of it okay, but then came the second interview room. I walked in, sat down, and the first question was, so Javier, tell us what you know about the Daniel Murphy Scholarship Fund. I thought to myself, all right, it's not too tough. I didn't practice this one, but it's pretty easy. So I replied, well, my principal and 8th grade teacher said it was a scholarship to help minorities go to private schools for high school. I've applied to other schools, but they said there were some good private schools I should consider. So here I am. I felt pretty good until I looked at their puzzled faces, and then I got really confused. Another interviewer in the session followed up with, well, what do you mean by that, Javier? And now I'm turning a bright red. I try to compose myself, and I look at him like, dude, really? You're asking me this? You? And so I replied, well, like you and me, because of course, he was the only black person in there. Everyone in the room burst out in laughter, and I just started sinking in my chair and got really embarrassed and didn't know what to say. And then another person in the room, who at this point, Jim, I could only assume was you, clarified to me what Daniel Murphy really was. All the while in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, I guess Whitney Young isn't going to be such a bad choice. I somehow, some way, I made it through that session, and I made it into the final interview room. And of course, the first question I get when I sit down is, so Javier, what will you do if you don't get the Daniel Murphy Scholarship? And I'm thinking, man, news travels really fast in this office. So here I am thinking, what will I do? What will I do if I don't get this scholarship? What do you say to that? Do I tell them about growing up poor and all the challenges that I faced getting to that moment? Do I tell them about all the neighborhood friends who I don't see anymore because I'm going to different schools and that's just what I want to do now? Do I brag about how smart I am and how I'm taking an advanced self-study algebra class? I took a deep breath and I said the only thing that made sense at that moment. Well, if I don't get the scholarship, I will just have to figure out a different way to get there. I don't know where that came from. Mind you, I'd only heard about St. Ignatius when I decided to apply to Daniel Murphy. But somehow, some way, I summoned the small amount of confidence I had left, and I pulled out that answer. The interviewer looked at me, shook her head. She looked at the other interviewers, shook her head, and I'm thinking, at least I got one right. But that was how I started my Daniel Murphy career, and now here I am. I decided to share these stories with you for a few reasons. Number one, make sure you know what Daniel Murphy is, just in case someone asks you. Number two, no matter how hard times may be in the coming years, they probably won't be anywhere near as bad as I felt in that moment in that second interview room. And three, and most importantly, even though I was entering a world that I did not completely understand, and I feel don't understand as an adult, I knew I belonged. I knew I deserved the opportunity, and I had earned it, just like all of you have earned and deserve to be sitting here tonight. I want you to leave here really understanding and truly believing that you belong here and you earned everything you have coming your way. Because you are going to encounter moments in the next few years that will undoubtedly shake your confidence. You'll start to feel like you don't belong because you will no longer be the smartest person in your class, because you will no longer be the most popular, because you'll have to commute an entire hour across the city to get to your school, because you won't just be able to sit in the class and hear a teacher explain something once and know how to do it perfectly right afterward, because you'll have to learn how to ask for help, because you may be the only person that looks like you in your entire class or an entire school, because you'll have to learn how to really study. I mean, really study. Because you'll have to grow up fast and take on the responsibilities that the parents of most of your peers usually handle. You will have moments where things don't make sense, and it's going to seem easier to just give up. But you can't, because you belong here and you deserve this. When you encounter those challenging moments, I want you to find that courage and confidence that has gotten you here. I want you to think about the people sitting behind you tonight, because they're the reason why I was able to say, I'll figure out a way on my interview day. It was the strength and courage I drew from all of these people who believed in me that helped me along my way. And I want you to find strength in knowing that you are not the only one. You belong here, and you deserve everything you have coming your way. I will leave you with one final thought tonight, a challenge. As you travel on your path, as you grow ever more confident in yourself, as you learn to overcome obstacles and even start looking for challenges, as you learn to stand on your own, I want you to remember sitting here tonight with all these amazing people behind you. I want you to remember that you are the product of all of their efforts. And I want you to leave here always asking yourself this question: how will I one day help someone sit in the seat I currently occupy? Congratulations, class of 2021.